I believe in the spirituality, humanity, and genius of Black people, and in our new pursuit of these values. I believe in the family and the community, and in the community as a family, and I will work to make this concept live. I believe in the community as more important than the individual. I believe in the constant struggle for freedom to end oppression and build a better world. I believe in collective struggle and fashioning victory in concert with my brothers and sisters. I believe that the fundamental reason our oppression continues is that we, as a people, lack the power to control our lives. I believe that the fundamental way to gain that power and end oppression is to build a sovereign Black nation. I believe that all the land in America upon which we have lived for a long time, which we have worked and built upon, and which we have fought to stay on, is land that belongs to us as a people. I believe in the Malcolm X doctrine that we must organize upon this land and hold a plebiscite to tell the world by a vote that we are free and our land independent, and that after the vote, we must stand ready to defend ourselves, establishing the nation beyond contradiction. Therefore, I pledge to struggle without cease until we have won sovereignty. I pledge to struggle without fail until we have built a better condition than the world has yet known. I will give my life if that is necessary. I will give my time, my mind, my strength, and my wealth because this is necessary. I will follow my chosen leaders and help them. I will love my brothers and sisters as myself. I will steal nothing from a brother or sister, cheat no brother or sister, misuse no brother or sister, inform on no brother and sister, and spread no gossip. I will keep myself clean in body, dress, and speech, knowing that I am a light set on a hill, a true representative of what we are building. I will be patient and uplifting with my brothers and sisters, and I will seek by word and by deed to heal the Black family, to bring into the movement and into the community mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters that have been left by the wayside. Now, freely and of my own will, I pledge this creed for the sake of freedom for my people and a better world, on pain of disgrace or banishment if I prove false. For I am, by the inspiration of our ancestors and the grace of our Creator, a new African. What you just heard was the New African Creed developed by our comrade elders in the New African Independence movement back in the day. It speaks to the need to rebuild ourselves as a people through struggle, and it focuses on the struggle for socialism, self-determination, and national liberation of new African people. It is a code also of personal ethics that all comrade cadre should adhere to. It stipulates punishment for those who openly and willfully break it. When we speak of ethics, we speak of a way in which we relate to each other as comrades and how we relate to the masses as a whole. Actions that we take are seen as either ethical or unethical, and people analyze whether or not someone is a good person or a bad person based on whether or not their actions are seen as mostly ethical, mostly good, or mostly unethical, mostly bad, or right or wrong. Making a habit of doing things that are seen as unethical or bad will not endear you to anybody, and you will be a miserable fuck with no friends and no support from the masses. But, like all things in class society, what is seen as unethical and what is seen as ethical always bears the stamp of a class. The bourgeoisie, the ruling class in our world, has its own ethics, its own standard of treatment of each other that helps to maintain class solidarity among a group of people who would happily sell their own mothers for $5 in penny stock. It also, through religious institutions that it controls, schools that it owns, and the government that it pays for, preaches ethics of the proletariat, ethics that continue to maintain the slavery of this class and the predominance of the ruling class. Settlers in settler colonial countries have ethics and values that attempt to maintain the unity of the settler caste and the domination of the colonized, and it promotes and preaches these values to the colonized to maintain settler rule and domination and convince the colonized that they are in fact inferior, which we all know is not the case. Fanon said that part of the decolonization process is when the formerly colonized subject mocks and vomits up the ideals and morals the colonizer has taught them. Socialism is, in major part, the creation of new people, new ethics, and new ways of relating to each other. So to answer the title question, yes, communists do in fact have ethics. As a revolutionary nationalist, I was taught by Malcolm, Huey, Asada, Fred, and others in my people's revolutionary tradition that we must always love and care for the people. Marxist, Leninist, Maoist, and Black revolutionary nationalist ethics are rooted in this love and care for the people, and it serves the class interests of the proletariat and colonized people. Bourgeois ethics that we are taught in school and through constant propaganda and conditioning serve the bourgeoisie and are antithetical to the project of building new people. We are not warlords, bandits, or terrorists. These people are devoid of ethics. We are solely driven by the principle that remains the slogan of the People's Liberation Army to this day: serve the people. Of course, with the revisionist restoration, a Maoist like myself would say that the people, in this instance, refer to the bourgeois state monopoly capitalist clique that currently controls the Chinese Communist Party, but that's for another day and another video. One of the reasons that the Chinese Communist Party back in the day was able to win against Japanese imperialists and Kuomintang fuckery was that their army was disciplined and ethical, in a proletarian and peasant sense. Every revolutionary influenced by the Chinese experience since 1928 has sought to apply the 3 rules of discipline and 8 points for attention. The 3 main rules of discipline laid out by Chairman Mao and the Chinese Communist Party back in the day are: 1. Obey orders in all your actions. What this means is that we adhere to the decisions taken democratically by our comrades and do not strike out on our own or do our own thing because we feel like it or we disagree with the line that has been laid out by our comrades. A revolution cannot succeed that way. 2. Do not take a single needle or piece of thread from the masses. Stealing from the people that you are supposed to be organizing for liberation is obviously not a good way to get them on your side. And 3. Turn in everything captured. When revolutionary forces seize things from the enemy, they are to be put at the disposal of the collective revolutionary formation and the masses as a whole. We do not accumulate large amounts of captured wealth for our own personal use. This is wrong and leads to bandit-style behavior. The 8 points for attention are: 1. Speak politely. Malcolm X taught us to never downgrade or demean people who are earnestly ignorant. You didn't know what you know except through study, struggle, and debate. Everybody else among the people is the same. Of course, this rule does not apply to the enemy. Point 2. Pay fairly for what you buy. Ripping off the masses does not endear us to them. Point 3. Return everything that you borrow. See above. Pay for anything that you damage. See above. Point 5. Do not hit or swear at people. In America, this is common sense. People have guns here. Point 6. Do not damage crops. In a society in which most people are peasants, destroying crops means that somebody don't get to eat. Point 7. Do not take liberties with women or men or anybody else. Again, self-explanatory. Point 8. Do not ill-treat captives. This is important because it once again calls for revolutionary discipline and adherence to a determined and worked-out strategy. Petty revenge and emotionalism gets us nothing. Our class rage at the enemy must be channeled in a strategic way, and those who have, for whatever reason, been induced to the enemy can, in many cases, be won over through careful treatment. So these rules and points for attention differentiated the Red Army from the warlord and bandit armies that the Chinese people had known for thousands of years. The Kuomintang army as well, which was known for massive corruption, with a substantial percentage of the generals and officer corps being addicted to opium and gambling and womanizing. An army that fights for the people and doesn't steal from them, drag women off with them to be sex slaves, burn their houses, and commit mass acts of drunken slaughter? Think about how our people in the United States relate to the armed forces in our communities. What do they think of the cops? How could we, in the scenario that public order breaks down and contradictions are resolved in the old way, get for ourselves the reputation that the Red Army had among the masses? These points can be said to help lay the foundation for a proletarian revolutionary, or communist, body of ethical conduct in the American context. How many times do we see people, even leadership in socialist or communist formations, getting in senseless Twitter arguments? I'm leadership in my local DSA chapter, and yes, guilty. But again, the revolutionary discipline, I'm working on it. How many times do we see people blowing up and resigning from their organizations over petty interpersonal quarrels? How many times do we see just general bullshit that demoralizes, deorients people, and makes them not want to have any part in communist organizing? This demonstrates that many in the left, while claiming to be principled revolutionaries, have failed to begin the process of remolding themselves into new people, or communists. Communists carry the seeds of the society that we are struggling for in our hearts, and communism is reflected in how we carry ourselves and behave both towards each other and towards the masses. For another example, let's look to the rules of the Black Panther Party. So, preamble. Every member of the Black Panther Party throughout this country of racist America must abide by these rules as functional members of this party. Central committee members, central staffs, and local staffs, including all captains subordinated to either national, state, or local leadership of the Black Panther Party, will enforce these rules. Length of suspension or other disciplinary action necessary for violation of these rules will depend on national decisions by national, state, or local area, and local committees and staffs where said rule or rules of the Black Panther Party were violated. Every member of the party must know these rules verbatim by heart and apply them daily. Each member must report any violation of these rules to their leadership or they are counter-revolutionary and are also subjected to suspension by the Black Panther Party. What are the rules of the Black Panther Party? The rules are: 1. No party member can have narcotics or weed in his possession while doing party work. 2. Any party member found shooting narcotics will be expelled from this party. 3. No party member can be drunk while doing daily party work. 4. No party member will violate rules relating to office work, general meetings of the Black Panther Party, and meetings of the Black Panther Party anywhere. 5. No party member will use, point, or fire a weapon of any kind unnecessarily or accidentally at anyone. 6. No party member can join any other army force except the Black Liberation Army. 7. No party member can have a weapon in his possession while drunk or loaded off narcotics or weed. 8. No party member will commit any crimes against party members or Black people at all. It cannot take or steal from the people, not even a needle or a piece of thread. 9. When arrested, Black Panther members will only give name, address, and will sign nothing. Legal first aid must be understood by all party members. 10. The 10-point program and platform of the Black Panther Party must be known and understood by each party member. 11. Party communications must be both national and local. 12. The 10-10-10 program should be known by all members and also understood by all members. 13. All finance officers will operate under the jurisdiction of the Ministry of Finance. 14. Each person will submit a report of daily work. 15. Each subsection leaders, section leader, and lieutenant and captain must submit daily reports of work. 16. All Panthers must learn to operate and service weapons correctly. 17. All leaders who expel a member must submit this information to the editor of the newspaper so that it will be published in the paper and will be known by all chapters and branches. 18. Political education classes are mandatory for general membership. 19. Only office personnel assigned to respective offices each day should be there. All others are to sell papers and do political and mass work out in the community, including captains, section leaders, etc. 20. Communications. All chapters must submit weekly reports in writing to national headquarters. 21. All branches must implement first aid and or medical cadres. 22. All chapters, branches, and components of the Black Panther Party must submit a monthly financial report to the Ministry of Finance and also the Central Committee. 23. Everyone in a leadership position must read no less than 2 hours a day to keep abreast of the changing political situation. 24. No chapter or branch shall accept grants, property funds, money, or any other aid from any government agency without contacting the national headquarters. 25. All chapters must adhere to the part of policy and ideology laid down by the Central Committee of the Black Panther Party. 26. All branches must submit weekly reports in writing to their respective chapters. So these rules demonstrate the revolutionary discipline that we should all aspire to as revolutionaries. As a Black Panther Party cadre, you didn't just simply throw on a black leather jacket and a beret and call yourself a Black Panther. Those were called paper panthers, and they were generally punished extremely severely by actual members of the Black Panther Party. If you were in the Black Panther Party, you were expected to be knowledgeable about the current situation politically, study ideology intentionally, and be a representative of revolutionary communism, later intercommunalism, and the party at all times. This is what we need to rebuild, and this is how one should behave if they are to be an open communist. The Black Panther Party had ethics. It had a serve the people ethic that endeared them to the masses and has secured for them a place in the halls of our people's collective memory. So to sum up, yes, communists do have ethics. We are not amoral people seeking only to bathe ourselves in blood and disgrace. We are not violators of the rights of working and colonized people, nor are we traitors to our class and our people. Our ethics are determined by our status as class partisans, meaning that we are 100% on the side of the working people of the world. We don't think of ourselves as individuals, but rather we think about how our actions and practices guide us towards the realization of a new order, that of communism. Anything that flies in the face of the ultimate goal, anything that harms the people we are sworn to protect, is simply not done. So when you think of communists in our ethics, think of us as red partisans, red paladins. I'm Black Red Guard.